you did it on the first time.
Don't get used to it.
Damn it.
All right, let's try that again.
Okay.
Do it.
You can do it.
And do it.
Okay.
All right. Try that again.
Okay.
I don't feel good about that one.
Feel good about that
I don't
one?
feel good about that one. I disengaged a little quickly.
Okay.
My eyeline didn't.
Okay.
All right. Let's try that again.
Okay.
Kumbawa! Is that not what we were supposed to say?
No, you're supposed to do it in English.
Oh. All right. 3, 2. Hi. I'm Hawk.
And I'm Hartlee.
And we are here to talk about a book. Shadow Rising. Book 4 of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan.
Dun dun dun.
So, first question.
Okay.
First question.
Okay.
And I know we talked about this in a little bit more of a long form kind of thing the other day we tried, but that's not on the internet yet, so we're going to act like we didn't do that. How we did our first video on The Eye of the World, your description of Robert Jordan's writing was Tolkien-Lite. And I will ask, even though like the established tropes are still there, you know, Trollocs are orcs,
Yeah.
Myrddraal are the Black Riders, you know.
We got a little Harry Potter in there now.
Yeah, like, so would you be like, how the way the story's written changes with book 4 for me? Like, do you find that to be the case?
Well, by default, seeing as how The Lord of the Rings is only 3 books, by book 4, he has exited stage left of Tolkien.
Okay. Well, you know, the reason I said we were going to wait and I was going to ask you in a few books was when he first started writing, I've read it a couple different places. I've seen it on a couple different interviews that you know, he was trying to take a modern look at the Tolkien style of story when he first pitched the book, when he first started writing it. Like, his original vision was going to look more like a 3-book series in a Lord of the Rings style, you know, story. Right? And you know, I don't know how it came about. I don't know who said what. I don't know if he just decided to roll with the story in a bigger way. I don't know. Like, I haven't read enough of his interviews or stuff like that. But, you know, you can tell in book 4 he kind of has a lot more license to world build in a different way, you know?
I mean, if he was originally planning to do 3 books and he went to 14, we're just gonna, I mean, that escalated.
I mean, he's my hero.
It's still, actually, I find this particular book, the 4th book, to be more Tolkien, if not less, as more Tolkien than book 2 or 3.
How so?
Because it's really historically heavy, which Tolkien tends to be. So for me, this one is the heaviest, and not in exposition, but in
history.
Yeah, in history. It reads more, let me tell you the history of the land, which I don't hate. It's not the same thing as being exposition heavy, but at the same time, it does make it seem more
like it seems
Tolkien.
It seems like halfway through the book that somebody decided to read the Silmarillion backwards about a particular group of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's accurate.
But that wasn't the, you know, Tolkien's narrative style. yes, he did explain lore here and there, but it was usually done in verse. And
okay, but I've read the Silmarillion,
yeah,
so
like
it feels very Tolkien, because that's still Tolkien to me.
Yeah. But in the narrative structure.
No, not in the narrative structure.
Okay. All right, I'm satisfied.
I was like in the flavor of the content.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good.
It is historically heavy.
It is. It's probably why it's one of my favorite books in the series, if we're gonna be honest about it. Who's your favorite character in this one?
That was really hard. I tried to think of, like
Anybody but Matt.
Yes, I tried to think of anybody but Matt. I did try to think of anybody but Matt. Fael, maybe? Perrin again?
Okay.
She's very stubborn.
Yeah. Well, their story in this book is just adorable.
Right.
And hilarious.
Yeah.
And heartfelt and tragic and like beautiful. Like all those things.
Just, yeah. You could end their arc now and I would be satisfied. Let's just leave it. Let's leave it alone. I know we're in book 5 and I know that it's going to get just destroyed. But it's pretty and it has a nice tidy little bow on it right now and I'd like to just leave it.
Yeah. Well, in the two main storylines, you get that Rand and Matt and Egwene go to the Waste. And we
have 3 main storylines.
You get Fael
and Perrin
and
to the
Loyal go to the Two Rivers, and you get the Tanchico storyline. 3. I tend to forget about that one.
And then there's like men in the tower, so there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, you're starting to get a lot more sideshow in the books.
Yeah.
Where the first book was very much one storyline that split a couple times but came back together. That was the same thing that happened in the second book. They just split sooner. It's the same thing that happened in the third book, except they split sooner.
I mean, that's where you're getting the divergence in the narrative structure from Tolkien, because that's what happens in the Lord of the Rings, is you have the storyline that's going with, Aragorn, and you have the storyline that's going with, the hobbits, and then the other 2 hobbits go off with the trees, and so you're getting.
And here's where it starts to diverge, because everybody starts at the stone, and then at the end of the book, we're left with Rand and them in the Waste. We're left with Fael and Perrin in the Two Rivers, and we're left with Nynaeve and Elaine in Tanchico.
Whereas before, when they would split up,
they would
all
always come back together
at the end.
So
yeah.
But yeah, the Perrin and Fael arc in this book is just, you start out that's just, you like that honeymoon phase where you almost those 2 friends of yours that got together and they're always at your house and being all lovey-dovey in front of you and
you're like, ew, gross, leave.
Yeah.
And
but they go through a lot of growth together in this book, and it feels real. Sorry, they go through a lot of growth together in this book, and it feels real. Under extreme circumstances, but it feels real.
I mean, I think that's why if I was gonna pick a favorite, I think I would pick Fael.
Okay.
In this book, because she's not Matt, and because of how she handled Perrin when he lost his family.
Yeah, that was
she gets super cred for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cred.
Yeah. Mine's Matt. Okay, mine's not just Matt. Matt just, except for one occasion keeps me giggling. Like, him in every interaction in the book makes me giggle, except for when he goes through the twisted door to Angreal in Ruidion.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, going back to being stupid. Like why are you being stupid?
Yeah.
Like, he kind of has to. He's not mad if he doesn't.
He doesn't just regress hard.
Yeah, but you know.
I mean, I like him after that.
Yeah, like he pays a real consequence. If it wasn't for Rand, he'd be dead. You know.
Except then he just blames Rand the whole time.
Yeah.
You won't let me leave. You're the reason I had to deal with this shit.
He can't even get that much out. Like, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I can't even say it.
He's just like, I want to run off with the Tinkers.
Yeah, he looks like a rabbit.
Or the
in a trap.
peddlers, sorry.
Looks like a rabbit in a trap the entire time. Like, not knowing if the people outside of the trap are gonna take it out to the forest and, you know, let him out so he can go be a rabbit in the forest, or if they're gonna...
They should have let him leave with all those dark friends. Just leave with the entire encampment of dark friends.
But...
Spoiler alert.
So... But...
And a Forsaken. How about it?
Yeah.
2 Forsaken.
Yeah. There's something about that Perrin Fael storyline, especially with Loyal and the 3 Aiel that go with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have vastly different cultures just in Fael and Perrin. Then you add an Ogier and 3 Aiel on top of the mix.
I straight love the Aiel in that.
Oh yeah.
In that side storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not always my favorite in the main storyline, but in that storyline, those three are funny.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah. Especially when the boy gets hurt and he comes back and he's just like, I can take care of myself, and one of the girls is like, I'll tell them something, and he just
tell them I touched you armed. And I'll let you settle where your honor stands.
Yeah, that. And he was just like...
Yeah, he just shuts down.
I was just like, shit, all right.
And there are so many little subtle cultural things happening. And every reaction, It's
very Red Dawn, that storyline, for me.
Well, there's so much, like I said, there's just so much happening in every interaction with those 3 because of who they are and where they're from. And then you have the happy-go-lucky worrywart Ogier on top of it. And then you have Fael opening her mouth and saying just the dumbest things every time she gets a chance to, just to get a rise out of Perrin, which it's working, even though he's not saying anything. He just busts her butt one good time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, like that. If it weren't for those moments, it would be much easier to say Matt was my favorite. But this like group of people in an Ogier are just entertaining every time they're in front of you.
Can I not pick like a singular favorite character? Can I just be like, this is my favorite subplot story and all the characters in it are my favorite?
Well, that's what moments are for.
Okay, but like all the characters are my favorite, and that's a little side.
Oh, just
show.
In there? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You've singled out like at least an piece of that beforehand.
And piece.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, my head's gonna explode. You take that back! No.
All right. Least favorite character.
Least favorite character?
Yep. It's harder in this book.
I was trying to think of like one of the main characters, because usually it's one of the main characters that's like my least favorite.
Yeah.
And they could become my favorite again. Like, I think it's a cop-out to pick a villain. But I think in this case, what's her name? She's the one that's the new Amerlin seat. I can't remember her name.
Leandrin? Not Leandrin.
No,
I'm
no.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Adela. Is that right?
Just give me a sec. I have to cope with what I just did for a second, and then I'll tell you who it is. I'm sorry.
Leandrin's a black sister.
I know. It's Elida.
Elida. See, I knew. There you go.
I knew. It's just the wrong.
Why is that such a big deal? Spoilers?
No, not spoilers. I feel terrible for switching those two very vastly different characters in my favorite book series of all time. I felt terrible there for a little bit. Anyway, I'm back. Elida.
I think she's my least favorite.
Okay.
Because of what she did. I don't like her.
Well,
I sort of understand why she does what she does, so I don't like pure hate her, but like I hate her. I don't hate her like I hated Matt, but I dislike her. And again, I think it's kind of a cop-out to pick your least favorite character as a villain, because like, duh, but...
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It tracks.
But I don't like her.
It tracks. I had a really hard time. With this. I think, like, my least favorite character, and it's hard for me to say because I love her arc overall. And, like, I honestly... Like in the grand scheme of the entire series, she's consistently one of my favorite characters for all the wrong reasons. But like as if you look at the work beginning to end,
yeah,
you know. But she has moments that just make me want to strangle her with her braid. Nynaeve. She's not so bad in this book. Like, the Nynaeve thing she does, like dunking Elaine's head in the bucket was hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, the bossing the boys around is kind of hilarious. Her reasoning for why she has to boss the boys around like she does is hilarious. And you know, she has one of the most singular badass moments of the book, where she goes up against Moghedien.
Yep.
And
does not get fried.
And does not die.
Yeah.
Does not die. So like, she's my least favorite of my favorites of this book. Is that fair to say?
Okay. Just because she's Nynaeve?
Just because she's the easiest not to just love completely. That sounds like a cop-out. Anyway.
She does this thing where she will say something really crappy, like really rude.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll be like, oh, that's not really fair, like in her own head. And then she'll say something like slightly nice, which she deems to be like grandly, you know, altruistic and kind and whatever. But it's really just like a step above like the rude ass thing that she just said.
Yeah.
And then someone else will say something back to her and she'll be like, ungrateful? I said something so nice to you. Like, You're so rude. Men are so rude. Just like, bitch. What did you just do? Let's look in the mirror. What did you just do?
Looking in the mirror is the hardest thing Nynaeve does.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing that Nynaeve does. That's probably why I like her so much.
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah. All right. So, hit me with your favorite moment.
Matt in the arch.
That's your favorite moment?
Yeah.
Going through the doorway, Matt.
No, Matt in the arch when they're still back at the stone.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt in the arch in the stone.
See, that irritates me.
No, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, you learn some things.
I would say it's top 5. Maybe it's not my favorite moment. Let me think for a second.
Like, I hate to talk you out of your favorite moment.
No, it's just the one that stuck out in my head as like, that's interesting. I mean, I want to say like the wedding thing back in Two Rivers, but then that's just tinged with so much like sad. I think, yeah, it's Matt.
That's fine.
It's Matt. It's like a combination though. It's the combination of the stone arch and the ring, the twisted doorway. Like the two of them together. Like, I don't know, it's interesting. I don't like it because it's beautiful or made me happy.
They're both twisted doorways.
Okay, well, both twisted doorways. Whatever. One's in the stone and one's in Ruidion.
Yeah.
So the combination of the two and Matt.
Like you learn a lot in those moments.
Yeah. And I'm intrigued. I'm like ready for that part of the story to come out and play out. So I guess it's my favorite because I am now interested in Matt and anything that's happening with Matt, and like that's a good refreshing change for me.
It's your favorite because now Matt has a woman being held over his head and he doesn't know who she is.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mean to call you out just then, but just call you out a little bit.
Call you out, okay.
All right.
You're not wrong.
I have two
favorite moments
for two vastly different reasons. One is the history nerd reason. The Rand going through the crystal columns and seeing the history of the Aiel unfold from his ancestors' eyes was just fantastic. Like, I loved it. Matter of fact, that's one of those spots in rereads where I really kind of zero in. Like, I try not to go too hard where I'm really analyzing line by line, but I just zero in every recollection to see what little pieces I can gather from it. The other one is it just tickles my funny bone in the best of ways, and it's on the Seafolk Raker, when Elaine just reaches out and tugs Tom's mustache.
And they're just like, I don't know.
And she's just like,
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know why I did that. Like, I could have sworn I've done that before. And Tom's just like, you must be mistaken, child. Like, like, both of them are completely flabbergasted. You're not used to seeing either of those two people be completely flabbergasted. Like, it is just one of those muscle memory things, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, when you have a kid, I don't have one, but you have them, and I toy with them all the time. But like, if you approach them a certain way every time you talk to them, like whenever you interact with them, they always respond that conditioned way.
Yeah.
I hate to be Pavloving your kids, but I kind of am. So it's just, he's there. It's the first time that he's really up close to her. The something about his voice triggers something. She sees the white mustache and she just reaches out and tugs that sucker. And then is so embarrassed at her action that she freaks out.
Yeah.
Like daughter heirs aren't supposed to just tug people's mustaches. And Tom's just like, oh crap, she remembers. Like, I don't want to explain this. And then every interaction they have for the rest of the book after that, to him telling stories in Tanchico and her getting a little too drunk and then her confronting him hammered.
And then pretending to forget when she
and
didn't
then
actually.
him slapping her down, literally. Elaine drunk is just hilarious. To Nynaeve dunking her head. You know, and to every little, like, Elaine starts, you know, trying to covertly dote on him, but she doesn't know how to do that. You know? And it's just adorable. So, though, that moment that starts it. That
tugging.
That tug. And, like, your kid still tugs at my goatee. Like, she tugged at my goatee when she was a kid. Like, she will walk by the couch and just reach out and then keep walking. I'm like, haven't you outgrown that? Nope. Sparkles into another room.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a little bit of that moment kind of rings true in my life. And then, like, Elaine's reaction is just hilarious. I don't know. I don't know. It's adorable.
It's adorable.
It's adorable. But, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't hate. Why do I like all the things from the beginning of the book and not from the end of the book?
Well, the end gets a little real.
Because I was just trying to think of, was there something else another favorite moment that I had? And I was just like, well, I mean, when Lan goes to tell Nynaeve bye, that one's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Puts her down after picking her up.
And then I was just like, well, Perrin
Paddling Fael.
puts Fael in her place. And I was just like, what is wrong with me?
We all know what's wrong
You're
with
okay. Don't answer that question. Don't answer it.
All right. So, what are you giving this one?
A 4.
4?
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
Yeah. I liked it as well as I liked the second one.
Okay.
I give the second one a 4.
Okay.
I believe.
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah. I liked it more than I liked the last one.
Yeah.
And I think I gave the last one a 3.5.
Something like that.
Yeah.
This one's 5 out of 5 for me. Like, this one may be my favorite book in the series. Like, it's right there close at the top for me. And then that's one thing I like about the Wheel of Time is you ask 10 people what their favorite book in the series is, you're most likely going to get, I mean, maybe not 10 different answers, but at least 5 or 6, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's something in there for everybody. But this one with the history and the teasings at the future and the interactions, and while the story is starting to get a bit more serious, it's still kind of handled a little bit more lightly, you know? Like, it doesn't feel as, like, the last book feels like you're under a shadow the entire time because you really don't know what Rand's doing, you know?
Being a secretive little person.
And so,
even in his own POV,
and you're really starting to worry for his sanity. And then you get the beginning of book 4, and while he's having a difficult time with the Tyrant High Lords, you know, you get to see him secret himself away. Or, well, you get the interaction with Elaine and Egwene, where Egwene tells Rand he doesn't love him.
Did I call and yell at you after I read that part?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I got home from the gym and I called and yelled at you.
Yeah.
I was angry.
Yeah, you were very angry.
I'm okay about it now.
Yeah.
I'm okay about it now. But I was just like, you built up this little romance between Rand and Egwene for like 3 books, and now you're just gonna like go and get away? What the hell?
Well, to be fair, they warned you in book 1.
Yeah, I know. I remembered that after you told me. I yelled and you reminded me, and then I like men, and I like Elaine, and I was able to like Elaine more after that moment in book 4.
Yeah.
Because I kind of secretly was like holding back liking her.
Yeah.
Because
stealing Egwene's man.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's not Egwene's man.
Right. And so then I was cool. I was able to like her.
Well,
purely,
I feel
more purely. To me at this point that Elaine is going to be someone that he needs. He's in a position of leadership, and there's a practicality about Elaine having been raised knowing she's going to be a queen.
Yeah.
And having, such a strong mother, she kind of gets it.
Mm-hmm.
That Egwene just doesn't, she's like, he's putting on airs, he's being arrogant, like, why is he bossing everyone around? And Elaine's just like, no, that's what he needs to do. Like, back up off.
Oh yeah. And I love how Moraine like puts Elaine on the spot. Like, hey, why don't you tell him why war is inevitable?
Yeah.
And Egwene and Nynaeve are just like, yes, please tell us how war is inevitable. And Elaine's like, yeah, she's right. Like, it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It'd be better to choose the best way to do it instead of just let it happen.
Right. That's what I mean. There's a practicality about Elaine I think.
And she even tries to hedge.
Yeah.
And Moraine's just like, no, little cousin.
No little cousin.
No little cousin.
I love that they're cousins. It's great. I love that they're cousins.
Are they cousins, or is she her aunt?
I don't know. They have the same last name.
Well,
I thought it was her uncle.
Her uncle was the king of Cairhien.
Then it was her cousin. Then Elaine's dad was her.
Elaine's dad was Tarngil Damadrid.
Right, and that was Moraine's cousin?
I'm pretty sure he wasn't the son of Laman.
I'm not safe to wiki this. I can phone a friend and call your mom and ask her.
Don't do that. She'll spoil things. I love you, Mom. I love you so much.
But I can't.
With all of this. Mi corazón es grande.
I don't know. They're related.
So
I think she calls her little cousin.
They are at least cousins.
Yeah.
They are at least cousins. But yeah, she calls her out. She's like, oh, by the way, like, you left this part out, and I know you intentionally did it.
Yeah.
Just like, yep. Yeah. Like, I really, I can't say it. I was about to mom.
Were you? You're turning your mom into a verb.
Yes.
Synonymous with spoiling.
Not always, but like, if you go to Seattle, it's not always raining, but chances are.
Woo! She's gonna chase you around the kitchen with a spoon again.
She's gonna hurt me. She is gonna hurt me. Oh, I guess you could say I'm a glutton for punishment. But yeah, things. I wish things.
You wish things.
I wish these people thinged in places together.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, kind of chased a rabbit. Actually, chased about 5. So,
I mean,
but there's a lot to talk about with this book. There's so much.
My least favorite part is the whole swan stilling arc thing. Because of that and because of Gawain.
Gawain.
I didn't call him Galad this time, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I got that part straight.
Yeah.
Or
Gawain.
call him a Camelin boy. Camelin boy part 1. The handsome one and the not so handsome one.
Well, he's handsome.
The less handsome one.
I mean,
the super handsome one or the just normal handsome one?
Like,
because Galad, they're always just like, oh my god, he's the prettiest thing I've ever seen.
well, I'm trying to find a comparison for you. Take Gerard Butler. Yeah, like that's. Now put Tom Hardy next to him. You're still gonna pick Gerard Butler.
But put your hands together. Like Joey with the same. Never mind.
Anyway, if you want to see what that looks like, you could watch The Rock and Rolla by Guy Ritchie.
I've watched it.
Oh yeah, you have.
With you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I make a lot of people watch Guy Ritchie movies.
We had a marathon day.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We need to watch the new one.
New one?
With Jason Statham.
Is it out?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
It's on the YouTube.
On the YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So.
I don't like that. I'm gonna mispronounce it again.
Elida?
No.
Go on. Galad? Not fuck. Gawain.
It made me sad.
Yeah, he's in a rough spot.
It made me sad. And he was still trying to like do the right thing. He just like snapped my heart in half. It was sad.
Yep.
I'm gonna need him to get some happy. Don't tell me. I just need to believe he's gonna get some happy. Men's foretellings are not tell me that's not happening, but like.
Well, spoiler alert.
You're gonna spoil something?
Everybody's gonna go through some shit by the end of this.
Oh, that's not a spoiler. That's just common sense.
Well, you're not wrong. So, you started 5, right?
Yeah, I'm about halfway through.
And I know we've been talking about.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about Frankenstein. Yeah, you're pretty good chunk. We've been talking about me reading Frankenstein, but I read The Scarlet Letter because of your dad. So we might talk about that.
Bunch of weirdos.
Yeah.
Like in The Scarlet Letter.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that soon. But until then, keep reading. Keep reading.
Yeah, he likes to add things.
Yeah, we're planning 6. I think I'm gonna try to push it to if we're gonna.
We started off. No.
To 14.
We started off with 4.
That means we have to do 30.
We started off with 4. You pushed it to 5. Now we're at 6 because we just decided we like this character. We're not gonna kill him. 6. We're at 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as I'm going. 6.
Okay.
You're looking at my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
6. I already let you take what was supposed to be an 80,000 word novel and turned it into a 150,000 word novel.
I like words. They mean things.
And you coerced me into joining you. Those aren't all your words.
I did not coerce you.
You were like, let me tell you this fabulous idea and give you all of these wonderful images in your brain to go put on the page. And then you expected me to just be like, no. Coercion.
I mean, I like to think of it as telling a story with my friend, but however you want to look at it.
Oh, you just wow. from the top shelf with the guilt trip. Way to make me look like the asshole here.
Oh, it's gonna be all right. Everybody shouldn't pick up by this point that I'm a manipulative jerk, so.
It was such a sad note to end on.
Yep. Sometimes life kicks you in the pants.
Fuck.
That's what I do. I take people's expectations